Tonight on Legislative Review. Controversial legislation concerning parents and students' rights, plus a proposal for legal clarity on what constitutes a hate crime in Washington state. From Olympia, this is Legislative Review. Welcome and thanks for watching Legislative Review. I'm Angela Nolasco.
We have seen a stunning disenrollment in our schools, and parents are sick and tired of feeling like school districts and their child's schools are hiding things from them, like what they are learning in school, their curriculum, their textbooks, and other things.
You are a parent. Our rights were not undermined in the discussion of this bill. In fact, we discussed tonight how my right as a parent can be upheld.
A contentious legislation concerning parents and students' rights sparked a heated debate on the House floor Wednesday afternoon, which went on into the early morning hours of Thursday. House Bill 1296, as written, aims to establish a set of rights for students, their parents, and school staff, including the right to free speech, religious expression, and access to education free from discrimination. These rights would be shared with students through materials including lessons in civics courses. The bill would also protect teachers and staff from retaliation if they support students' rights, including LGBTQ+ rights, or teach in ways that align with state learning standards. It also seeks to allow parents to enroll their children in public school regarding of their immigration or housing status, and file complaints if their child faces bullying or harassment. Supporters believe it will ensure students, including those in marginalized groups, have a safe and supportive place to learn, and prioritize students' safety and privacy without fear of discrimination or bullying. They argue that it aligns with Initiative 2081, the 2024 Parents' Rights Initiative. However, that's one of the bill's major points of contention, as some see it as not just a bill about protecting students' rights, but a measure to modify parts of I-2081. Particularly with the parental notification if their child is involved in a school incident or a healthcare decision that the student wants to keep private. Some parents feel the bill would undermine their role in making decisions about their children's education and health decisions when they should have the ultimate say. Critics also worry that the bill's emphasis on LGBTQ+ student protections could lead to conflicts between school policies and family values. After debating over 80 amendments, the bill reached its final passage, where Democratic Representative Monica Stonier, the bill's prime sponsor, shared her remarks.
This is the kind of school environment kids deserve, where they can see themselves no matter who they are or where they come from. Social studies teachers and current events teachers that use real statistics. A boy in Everett was relentlessly bullied and ruthlessly beaten because he was gay, and his school environment did not protect him. The suicide rates, the depression, and the self-harm that some of our students are experiencing just because they do not feel that they belong is a problem, and yes, Madam Speaker, is an emergency. I ask you to vote yes.
Speaking against the bill, Republican Representative Matt Marshall.
I have trouble believing that the best way forward for a child's mental health is to make sure that the parents don't even know what's going on. I have trouble saying as young as 9 years old, a child can excuse themselves from school into this dangerous environment. I have trouble rectifying how 450,000 plus people's votes and then the adoption by this body can be outweighed by agencies in our government who have issue with the underlying policy. I have trouble saying that we're going to block the people from even having the chance to run a referendum on this policy and have it go to a vote. And if this is the right policy, we really should send it to the people. I urge you to vote no with me.
The House voted on the bill.
The Speaker is about to open the roll call machine. The Speaker has opened the roll call machine. Has every member voted? Representative Entman? Does any member wish to change their vote? The Speaker is about to lock the roll call machine. The Speaker has locked the roll call machine. Will the clerk please take the record?
Madam Speaker, there are 56 yeas, 37 nays, 5 excused.
Having received a constitutional majority, engrossed substitute House Bill 1296 is declared passed.
House Bill 1296 passed. Its next stop will be the Senate for further deliberation. In the Senate, a House bill that seeks to clarify what constitutes a hate crime offense in the state was heard by the Law and Justice Committee Thursday. If passed, it could have far-reaching implications for how hate crimes are prosecuted and understood by jurors. The bill, which passed in the House last month, seeks to refine the legal definition of a hate crime, specifically in the way these crimes are motivated. Under current law, a hate crime occurs when someone maliciously commits certain harmful acts, like assault or property damage, because of their perception of the victim, whether it be their race, color, religion, national origin, gender, sexual orientation, or disability. House Bill 1052 looks to modify that to include instances where the person's bias or prejudice is a substantial factor in their actions. In short, if someone commits an act of violence, assault, or harm to a person or their property because of their negative perception of that person, that could be a hate crime. The bill would clarify to jurors that as long as they find that bias existed in the motivation to commit a hate crime, that would be enough to warrant a guilty verdict. This change would impact both the criminal and civil aspects of a case. A conviction for a hate crime remains a Class C felony with a maximum penalty of 5 years in prison, a fine of up to $10,000, or both. The victim of a hate crime could also pursue a civil lawsuit seeking damages, including actual damages and punitive damages of up to $100,000 and reimbursement for legal fees. Democratic Representative Cindy Ryu sponsored the bill.
Hate crimes often have mixed motives, and they exist on a spectrum, and they can be either spontaneous or pre-planned, or perhaps a mix. The current language, as you have heard, does lead to not guilty verdicts because of how the jurors have to make their own judgments as to what the definitions are, even in the face of clear evidence of bias.
The bill has attracted much debate, with supporters saying it will combat the increasing number of hate crimes in diverse communities, and that it will allow prosecutors to hold offenders accountable for the harm they cause, especially to vulnerable groups. Speaking in support, Yesenia Manso of the King County Prosecuting Attorney's Office.
Jurors are interpreting the law to require that a defendant's bias be the only motive. This is problematic because most hate crimes are mixed motive, and even in cases where bias is the only motive, every defendant comes up with some sort of other excuse for their violence.
Opponents say it will prosecute actions of less serious crimes to the level of serious criminal behavior. They claim it will place unnecessary burdens on law enforcement and courts and undermine fairness in legal proceedings. Testifying in opposition, concerned citizen Sharon Demoff.
Hate crime laws are bad because they criminalize what you think about someone. We should criminalize actions, not thoughts. Assault is a crime, no matter the motivation. In America, we have free speech, and thought is even more fundamental than speech, yet hate crime laws punish thought.
If enacted, House Bill 1052 takes effect 90 days after the session adjourns. And that's a wrap for this episode of Legislative Review. Join us nightly at 8 and 11 to keep up with what's happening in the legislature.